The left hits panic mode. Former Fed prosecutor promises to press charges against Representative Nunes if a Fisa memo is released. By Jim Hoff for thegatewaypundit.com. The left has officially reached panic mode. As reported earlier by Byron York, the House Intelligence Committee scheduled a vote on Monday to release the explosive classified Fisa memo. Josh Kaplan posted earlier Sean Hannity's TikTok tweet about the Monday vote. Sean Hannity, TikTok. The House Intelligence Committee vote is scheduled for 5 p.m. on Monday in the Capitol, where Republicans hold a 13-9 majority. The committee will then wait a decision from President Trump on whether he supports the release of the classified memo on deep state corruption in the Hillary Clinton and Trump-Russia investigation. Well, we know Trump already said yeah, he wants it released. The White House already announced they support the release of the memo. There it is. The corrupt Justice Department shadow government wants to approve the memo before it is released. Really? They want to, the Justice Department, they want to approve it. The corrupt, they're corrupt to the core. That's what this Fisa is all about. Sarah Carter announced on Sunday morning the memo could be released earlier this week, possibly Monday. This has Democrats and the shadow government very upset and worried. Now this, former far-left federal prosecutor Frank Figliuzzi told MSNBC he will press charges for a criminal investigation of Representative Devin Nunes if the Fisa memo is released to the public. Is he a joke or what? Let's see how they are freaking out. The mainstream media, they're not going to know what they're going to do with themselves and what they're going to report on after the memo comes out.
So the DOJ has used very strong language here. They've actually said it would be extraordinarily reckless to release this classified memo to the public. So I'm very troubled by this. There's some reporting inside Washington that the memo may actually contain not only secret information, but top secret information. When you get into the top secret realm, you're getting into sources, methods, techniques that simply cannot be exposed. And I have to tell you, if this is released publicly without going through proper procedures, I'll be the first one to come on your show, Alex, and call for a criminal investigation of Representative Nunes. Because,
well, right after the Fisa memo comes out and you're going to sue Nunes, how about the tables are turned and we're going to sue you for obstruction of justice? How about that?
We keep hearing of complaints about leaks in Washington. The president keeps hammering on we can't have leaks.
And you totally ignored him and kept on leaking.
Hammered Jim Comey for taking an unclassified memo with him when he left.
And what happened to Jim Comey till now? Nothing, actually, right? So the president is not allowed to do what he wants?
FBI. But now apparently the president is supporting the potential release to the public of what could be secret or top secret information.
And you're picking up on something I had just an instinct, and I'm curious about this memo having been written by staff members of Devin Nunes' office, okay? So I'm curious, is it normal, typical, that staff members of a congressperson would have access to that kind of top secret information?
Because it's really not top secret. It just states that the Obama administration and the Department of Justice and the FBI is just downright corrupt, and that's all there is to it. I mean, and then he's going to say what?
Actually, it is, and as Assistant Director of the FBI for Counterintelligence, I would regularly brief the Hill, HIPSI, SISI, the Senate and House Intelligence Committees, and the staff members would be present. And yes, indeed, they are cleared, and yes, they could have access to classified. The problem
Which means all the more people
right?
for leaking.
What an idiot.
Well, that's right. And so there's already a disturbing number of people that likely have read this, that probably shouldn't have read it. But this needs to go to the proper bodies to get reviewed. My guess is, particularly from what we're hearing from those who are not as partisan, who have read it, is that this is not the smoking gun. We've heard...
Okay, so the partisan people that read it, this is not the smoking gun? So what are you afraid of if it's released, since it's not the smoking gun and it doesn't mean anything? And are you Democrats busy writing up that alternative memo to counteract this memo? That's what you guys were saying?
That this is bigger than Watergate. It's hard for me to understand how just 4 pages of writing could result in something bigger than Watergate. If there's a flaw in an affidavit for a search for an electronic surveillance application, let's get to it. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's have the FBI have a chance to fix it.
So the criteria for which you will come right back on my show and talk about things, what is the likelihood of that playing out?
You think you're going to have a show left after this?
We're hearing the president supports a public release. We're hearing Nunes is seriously considering going beyond DOJ's admonition that it would be extremely reckless to do so. The question now will be whether Nunes will follow existing procedures for a declassification process, which literally would require the president to sign off on declassification of highly classified information. But if he doesn't do that, if he simply recklessly releases it to the media or to the public, that's when I'm on your show saying it's time for a criminal investigation for leaking.
For leaking. Yeah, for leaking.
So here's what.
Trump's going to approve of it, so you can't sue him. You can't sue Nunes because Trump's going to release it. And boy, they think they're going to have a show left. MSNBC and all these MSM, they think they're going to have a show left. I'd like to see their faces, though. When all this goes down, I just want to see what they're going to report on and how they're going to spin it. This time, they won't be able to spin it. They're going to try very, very hard, but they won't be able to. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.